Want to know some time-saving tips for Playwright? Have you seen the new tool that is a repository of test cases and scenarios? And do you know how to take the guesswork out of your performance? Find out the answers to these and all other end-to-end full pipeline DevOps, automation testing, performance testing, and security testing in 10 minutes or less in this episode of the TestGuild News Show for the week of June 5th. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea and let's do this. This episode of the TestGuild News Show is sponsored by the awesome folks at Applitools. Applitools is a next-generation test automation platform powered by visual AI, which helps you increase quality, accelerate delivery, and reduce costs with the world's most intelligent test automation platform. But seeing is believing, so create your free account now by clicking in the link in the first comment down below. And while you're there, why not leave a comment, and subscribe to get alerted every time I release a new episode. First up, automation news. So Sanjay Kumar, who's the founder of Selectors Hub, posted some quick tips on how to save time for Playwright users that helps you not to waste a lot of time using his tool, Selector Hub. And he goes over 4 main areas that Selectors Hub can help you with your Playwright selectors. 1 is running code, 2 is opening the Playwright window and then going to the console, typing Playwright just to verify one Playwright selector. While using Selectors Hub helps you save money by not wasting more time. So if you haven't seen Selectors Hub and you use Playwright, here's just some more features that have been added on by Sanjay that you definitely should check out. Thank you, Sanjay, for that. So I don't know how I missed this next article. It was released actually a few months ago, and it's how serverless UI testing using Selenium, AWS Lambda, AWS Fargate, and AWS developer tools. And this article demonstrates how to use AWS developer tools to build a continuous delivery pipeline that automatically deploys a test environment and runs a UI test against it. It also goes over how to build a container image, which includes Chromium browser, Firefox browser, Selenium, and its dependencies, which are used to run the tests in AWS Lambda and AWS Fargate. So I think this is definitely worth your time, regardless if you use that technology. Because a lot of times you may pick up a tip tool technique that someone else is using in their particular environment and how you can then apply it to your own. And speaking of AWS, a hot topic has been Playwright. So this next article goes over how to integrate Playwright automation tests with AWS CodeBuild. So the article goes over what is AWS CodeBuild and walks you step by step about setting it up with Playwright, and also goes over how to publish test reports and has a link to the GitHub repository. So I missed last week. One of the reasons why was there was a holiday in the US for Memorial Day. The other reason was I totally spaced out that I was just about to release episode 400 and I had nothing created for it. So I scrambled together a bunch of awesome past guests to create a special episode to celebrate our 400th episode of the TestGuild Automation Podcast, formerly known as Test Talks. So if you don't know, I've been running the TestGuild Automation Podcast for over 8 years. We released the 400th episode last week, and we have over 1.2 million downloads. I just want to thank everyone for helping contribute to make that possible. So once again, I really appreciate everyone, and thank you all for your support. Anytime I post an article or a podcast around automation frameworks, a lot of times people say, what happened to WebDriverIO? How come WebDriverIO is not on it? If for some reason I don't include it. So this next article is for WebDriverIO fanatics and is by Christian, who is the main contributor to WebDriverIO. And this article goes over how to create an instant deployment environment for WebDriver. And if you go through it, it just goes by step on how to actually do this setup and how easy and straightforward it is for you to create an environment for your WebDriver automation test. So really cool stuff as always. So thank you, Christian, for all you do for the automation community. All right, so this episode has a little bit of something for everyone, depending on what your favorite automation framework or tool is. So this next announcement is by Diego on the announcement of Selenium 4.20 being released. So Selenium 4.20 and 4.2.1 for Java and Ruby is now out. And it now has scrolling functionality available. And as always, a big round of applause for all the Selenium contributors for constantly keeping it up to date with better and better features. So thank you all, the Selenium contributors, for that. So besides Applitools being the sponsor of the show and having an awesome product that I think all testers should be using, which you can get a free account for if you click on that first link down below. But they also put on awesome free events like every few months. And this next one is another must-see. So Front-End Fest is a free virtual event which is dedicated to promoting excellence in front-end testing strategies with topics covering accessibility, CI/CD, UX research, trending tools and frameworks, and test writing strategies. And if you've been jonesing for Angie Jones, you're in for a special treat. Both Angie Jones and Cassidy Williams will be hosting this event. So definitely, if you haven't seen Angie Jones lately, this is a great opportunity to check her out as well. All right, so I know I already mentioned Sanjay Kumar, but he also had another announcement. He's a really busy guy. He's always working and making things even better for the community. He just launched a new tool called TestCaseHub that I definitely think you should check out because I think it's pretty cool, and it's just the beginning, I think, of where this is possibly going to go. All right, so what is TestCaseHub? And it says it's a repository of test cases and scenarios. Users can search for any functionality or feature in TestCaseHub, and it will list all possible test cases. All right, so I still didn't really know what that meant. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm a little slow. So I clicked on the link. And so I just said, okay, I typed in login. And bam, it generated, how many tests here? It generated 16 possible test cases that I may want to perform against that login feature. So really great time saver. And if you're not sure what to test or what tests you should be running against different features, this seems like a cool place to start to get your ideas going. And so, like I said, it's just dropped. So I'm sure it's going to get better, even better over time. So definitely check it out. It's testcasehub.net. So I mentioned Karate Labs a few weeks ago, and I just noticed they made another announcement. They keep innovating, that they just announced the release of their long-awaited official IntelliJ plugin for Karate. And obviously, this is awesome news if you use IntelliJ in Karate, because this brings to life the autocomplete experience and syntax hints that developers care so much about. So now teams can write, debug, and maintain Karate tests even faster than before. So if you use IntelliJ, if you use Karate, definitely a must-use feature. Next up, performance and site reliability news. So LoadRunner just announced a new release. I'm not sure if you know, but LoadRunner actually has a community edition that they've had for a while. So you can definitely check it out. I think you get up to a certain amount of free V users. And it definitely is the go-to performance tool I used to use back in the day when I did just hardcore performance testing. So this release includes a lot of enhancements around the user interface and a lot of new content that enhances integration with third-party tools and extends protocol support, new enhanced test operations capabilities, and more. And in other performance news, do you want to learn how to take the guesswork out of performance? Well, this next article might just do the trick for you. So this is by Tim, who is the director of WebPageTest. And this is an announcement of a launch of a set of new powerful features and functionality for all users of WebPageTest to help make it faster and easier for you and your teams to make sense of your web performance, the opportunities for improvement, and critically, how significant these opportunities are. Definitely check it out in the first comment down below. Next up, security news. So I'm a big fan of online education. I learned about HackEDU a few years ago, which is like an online platform you go on and you interact with the console as if you were really doing security type of practices. I just noticed that they just merged with Security Journey, and that's what this next post is all about. So this helps really expand their catalog, and their goal really is to turn any developer into a security champion. And it just goes over what is Security Journey, why it was acquired by HackEDU, and what that means for security training in the future. And you probably heard of the company WhiteSource, which I've mentioned on the show numerous times, which you'll no longer are going to hear about anymore. And the reason why is they just rebranded and renamed themselves to Mend. So if you hear about Mend, it used to be WhiteSource. So just to avoid any confusion, just want to announce what that means and have a link to this article that talks about what Mend does, why they changed the name, and how it can help you with your security efforts. So for links to everything of value we covered in this news episode, head on over to the links in the first comment down below. And while you're there, make sure to check out our awesome sponsor, Applitools' free account offer, and discover how to take your automation testing to the next level, leveraging visual AI. So that's it for this episode of the TestGuild News Show. I'm Joe. My mission is to help you succeed with creating end-to-end, full-stack pipeline automation awesomeness. As always, test everything and keep the good. Cheers.